So this anime starts in a city where it was raining that day. There we see Jal, who had recently gotten a job. It was a night scene. He was sleeping in his room, and then the power was cut off by his boss. He tells him to go and see what happened, why the power went off. So Jal now goes to the rooftop at night to see what happened. Then Jal sees a girl there who is performing a ritual, and then from the sky, lightning strikes and falls on the girl. The girl falls down helpless. The man comes to her and says, "I must help her. She looks like a high school student, but I can't do this." She runs behind him. Then he says, "I have to help you." And he goes to her and kisses her. Then the girl regains consciousness. When she wakes up, she sees Jal in front of her. She gets angry and slaps Jal. She hits him and says, "How dare you do this? And how dare you kiss me?" Jal says, "I was helping you. If I had not done this, you would have died." Then that girl says, "How did you get the guts to kiss me first?" Saying so, she slaps him again and now goes away from there. On the way, that girl says, "Thank God he did not see my power, and now I cannot waste my years of hard work like this." We see that a green ray is suddenly released from her body, and she regains control of herself and leaves from there. The next day's scene is shown. It was June where she was going. "I am getting some strange feeling, like it seems as if some unique powers have awakened inside me." Here it is shown that the girl, her name was Alice. Alice was walking, and a man approaches her and says, "Alice, come on a date with me. Look, I have brought 2 movie tickets for you." Alice replies, "I can't go right now. My classes are ongoing." Saying this, she leaves. A girl was walking by, and a poster starts to fall on her, but June uses his power to save her. However, he collapses and is later shown regaining consciousness. He wakes up in a room with his hands tied. Alice tries to comfort him. June says, "Hey, what's going on?" Then Alice says, "Do you remember that night, the night you saved a girl's life?" June says, "Yes, was it you?" Alice says, "Yes, it was me." Alice, now serious, says, "Because of what happened that night, my powers have transferred into you. Now, you have 2 choices. You can either help me regain what I've lost or accept this new reality and unlock your true potential as a cultivator. If you choose the second path, you will have the chance to achieve immortality." June, unwilling to let go of this opportunity, decides to become a cultivator. Alice brings him to the roof of a building and asks him, "If you want to truly embrace this path and gain even more power, are you ready to take a leap of faith?" June replies, "Yes, of course." Alice then says with a calm smile, "All right, trust yourself and jump from this building. If you awaken your powers, you will be saved. Otherwise, you might not make it, and it could just become another unfortunate story in the news." These words deeply worried June. Alice, determined to help him realize his potential, decided to push him beyond his fears one night. She lightly pushed him off the building. June fell, feeling terrified and helpless. Believing his end was near, Alice followed him, diving after him. As they neared the ground, June's powers finally awakened, and magical wings emerged from his back. He caught Alice mid-air, saving her, and soared into the sky. He exclaimed, "Look, my powers have awakened!" Alice smiled and revealed her wings as well. Together they flew gracefully through the night. Eventually, Alice landed on a rooftop with June and said, "You're still very new to this, and quite unprepared. We both are. True cultivators are incredibly powerful, far beyond our level. Compared to them, we are just beginners. We must stay hidden. No one should find out about our powers." The scene shifts to the cultivator master speaking to his servant. He says, "I can sense something significant. A new cultivator seems to have awakened. If this person is not strong enough, bring them to me. If they are powerful, capture them. Their energy may be of use to me." Meanwhile, June and Alice are walking together when a red-haired man approaches Alice, saying, "Let's go watch a movie. I've been waiting too long." Alice responds, "I'm exhausted. I spent the whole night working, and now I need to rest." Hearing this, the red-haired man becomes upset and confronts June. Alice quickly intervenes, saying, "He's my friend. I'll handle things myself. No one else should interfere." We then meet the master's servant, Yu, who is shown absorbing energy from someone. She remarks, "That was delightful." The next day, Yu is seen at school where her beauty mesmerizes all the boys, leaving them awestruck. She had come to find out who the new cultivator was. It is shown that all the members approached her one by one, and she went on dates with them. However, none of them turned out to be the cultivator. She kept interacting with all those people, becoming quite drained as so many individuals came, but the cultivator was still not among them. Later, a night scene is shown. Jun's master, his boss, saw a photo of the girl. He felt a strange attraction toward her and decided to approach her. When he met her, Yui checked him but discovered he was just an ordinary person. She dismissed him, but he wouldn't leave, so she firmly confronted him. As she was leaving, June arrived and saved his boss. Yui, delighted upon seeing him, said, "Finally, I've found the new cultivator." She immediately started challenging him. June, realizing he wasn't strong enough, fled to find Alice. However, Yui attacked him with her sword, forcing him to continue running. June came under Yui's influence due to her power of attraction and was shown reaching the rooftop with her. Under her spell, he proposed to her, but Yui released him from the spell by lightly striking him, causing him to snap back to his senses. Confused, June asked, "What are you doing?" Then he recalled Alice's words. Strong cultivators often overpower smaller ones to take their powers. He asked, "Are you one of those cultivators?" A fierce battle ensued between Yui and June. However, June was at a disadvantage as he lacked sufficient abilities. Just then, Alice arrived to help him. Alice and Yui faced off in an intense battle, both unleashing their ultimate forms and using powerful attacks. June attempted to assist Alice, but she stopped him, saying, "Stay out of this fight. Leave now and I'll wait for you outside. Go quickly." Seizing an opportunity, Yui landed a strong blow on Alice, leaving her in a weakened state. Yui continued her attacks, and Alice struggled to defend herself. Finally, as Yui prepared to strike a decisive blow, June intervened to shield Alice. In doing so, he sacrificed himself. After this act of bravery, June's spirit moved on to another world, where an unknown journey awaited him. A new character enters, a master cultivator who, upon seeing June, remarks, "You do not belong to our family." As she walks away, June has an idea and quickly says, "I am Alice's future husband." After hearing this, the master cultivator responds, "You are a master cultivator then. Fine, go ahead and teach our lineage. As part of our tradition, I must give you a gift." She hands him a pearl necklace and leaves. June, now holding the necklace, wonders, "What should I do with this? How do I use it?" The scene shifts, and June experiences a flashback, returning to the past where Yui was about to harm him. In that moment, June taps into his power, which transforms into its ultimate form. Yui, stunned, senses the magnitude of his strength. His power is now on par with a master cultivator. Surprised, she launches an attack, but her strike has no effect. June swiftly defeats her with a single move. With no other option, Yui begins to fall from the building, but June catches her just in time, saving her. He says, "Every life is precious. No one should die over such a small matter." Yui, slightly annoyed, replies, "You're a fool for saving my life," before walking away. Just then, Alice approaches June and asks, "How did you gain such power?" June remained silent when Alice asked about his powers, which made her very upset. She said, "If you're not going to tell me, I'll find out myself." Determined, she lay beside him, and June smiled at her. Alice kissed him, and as they kissed, she experienced a vision of memories. However, she couldn't see the source of her power. Similarly, June also saw Alice's memories. He discovered what had happened to her in the past, including a painful moment where he saw Alice's mother in a car. A man was harming her, demanding something selfish that her mother refused to give. Alice, devastated, cried as June watched from afar, also feeling her pain. After the vision ended, they both returned to the present. Alice now understood more about her power and reflected on her past. She turned to June and asked, "What should I do now?" June reassured her, saying, "I am with you and I will always support you." Alice, a little more vulnerable, shared, "I'm the only child in my family, which is why everyone is trying to kill me." June responded with determination, "I will always support you." The next day, the scene shifts to Yuhi entering June's room. She smiles and says, "Darling, you've finally come. I've been waiting for you for so long. June, taken aback, replies, Wow, what are you saying? Yuhi casually says, I don't have a place to stay, so I'll be staying here tonight. With no other option, June sighs and mutters, What a disaster! He agrees and moves to sleep on the side. The scene transitions to the next day. One by one, all the boys approached Yui, trying to propose to her because her magical power was still active, and they were all drawn to her. Just then, the red-haired guy came up to Alice, offering her a diamond ring and saying, This is my diamond ring. Please accept me. He was quite popular, but Alice responded, If you want to impress me, this won't work. You could try wooing someone like Yui, she hinted, while looking at Yui. When June appeared, Yui immediately walked up to him and said, Darling, are you coming with me? Yui was clearly taken by him, and even Alice seemed to be captivated. The red-haired guy, frustrated, declared, June, I won't let you get away with this. Later, the group went to watch a movie, but the two girls weren't focused on the screen. Instead, they kept exchanging glances at each other. As the movie continued, a sound came from a car, and Alice grabbed Yui, making her even angrier. Yui moved toward Alice to kiss her, but June quickly moved aside, and the two girls ended up kissing each other. The people watching in the theater were taken aback, whispering, What's happening? This is the new generation. June is on his way to give Alice a present when a red-haired man suddenly stops him. The man says, Today, I'm going to teach you a lesson. As he moves forward to attack, Alice arrives just in time, quickly taking care of the goons. Together, she and June defeat them all, after which June hands the present to Alice. Alice, smiling, says, No one has ever given me a present before. She's happy, but there's a touch of sadness in her eyes because she hadn't given June anything in return. As she turns to leave, June stops her and asks, Can we be good friends? He remembers how the master used to harm people and drink their blood, growing stronger with each act. The master is shown becoming more powerful as time passes. Meanwhile, Yui arrives at the master's place. The master asks, Have you completed your task? Yui responds, Master, my work isn't finished yet. The master warns, You have 10 days. If you don't succeed, I'll become even stronger and deal with him myself. Later that night, Yui is on her way when she runs into June. He says, Where have you been? I've been looking for you everywhere. Yui tries to attack him, but instead of retaliating, June only defends himself. Yui begins to cry, asking, Why are you like this? She then hugs him, and in that moment, her past is revealed. In her childhood, Yui used to visit the forest to gather wood and spent her early years with her parents. During these visits, she met a stingray, and they became close friends. Over time, they formed a strong bond, sharing their childhood experiences together. From here on, when she comes back, all the villagers were talking about how this girl always goes to the jungle and stays there all the time. What does she do, after all? They wondered. Now, a spirit Baba had come there, telling everyone's prophecy. That girl, i.e., Yui, did not want to see her past or future, so she left from there. All the villagers were talking again, but she ignored everyone and left. However, the Baba told her through spirit energy, Tonight, do not go to that place or meet the snake spirit, or the whole city will be destroyed. But that girl, Yui, didn't listen and left anyway. When she came back, she saw that her whole village was completely destroyed. All the people, even her parents, were killed. Now the cult master came there and said, You are the only living girl in this village. With the power that I am giving you, you will kill that snake spirit because he's the one who killed all your villagers. Yuhi was very upset. Now she takes that knife and heads toward the snake spirit. Meanwhile, the snake spirit was also injured. She causes him some discomfort. Before he could respond, Yui defeats him. The master then asks, Do you want to join me? You should also become a cultivator so that you can grow stronger in the future. Yui asks, Can you save the villagers? The cultivator master replies, No, I can't do that. You just come with me. So she decides to go with them. The present is shown to us. She says, If you people don't stop him, then he will harm you. I've realized that if there's anyone we need to stop, we must work together to deal with that master, that old man, from wherever we can. But Alice told June, Let's leave all this behind and start a different life. We will go somewhere together and live peacefully. She was very upset here, and she says, "We are planning a way to trap that girl." It is shown that they set the trap for Paba, and now they plan to capture him. This was quite risky, but they were ready to take such a step. It is further shown that June asks Alice, "Are we going to do a couple cult session together?" Alice replies, "How can you think like this? We are not going to do anything like that." She adds, "When I went into your memory, I saw that something was sealed there. If you can awaken it, then we will have a chance to defeat Paba. We can defeat that master completely, but first, you need to awaken your power." Alice lightly cuts John's hand and says, "You need to perform a ritual and call for him with your blood." June follows her instructions and does the ritual. A girl emerges, calling June her master. She says, "Master, you summoned me." June replies, "Yes, I summoned you." The girl then says, "Master, I cannot assist you because my cultivation level is very advanced and yours is too low. You will need to raise your cultivation level first." After saying this, the girl leaves. The next day, June was on his way to meet someone when the guy from the red tank stops him. This time, he had brought two cultivators with him. They move forward to confront June, but Yui and Alice arrive just in time. Both of them begin fighting the cultivators, but the battle is intense as the cultivators were at a much higher level. Yui and Alice were struggling, and their condition worsened. Suddenly, the girl that June had summoned appears. She fights valiantly and defeats everyone. The two cultivators, realizing their defeat, become frightened, apologize, and leave. The next day, Yui was curious and asked, "Who is she?" June explains, "I summoned her." The girl responds, "I don't have a name." June smiles and says, "I will give you a name." He gives her a name which she loves deeply because it was chosen by her master. Alice and Yui leave, and June travels with the girl to a different realm to perform some cultivation work and strengthen his powers. She says, "Master, I am going to enhance your strength and open your meridians. It will be painful, but you must endure it to become stronger." June nods and says, "All right, do it." The ritual begins, and it is incredibly intense. June experiences significant discomfort, but he perseveres. Suddenly, the tree master appears. The girl warns, "Master, stay cautious." June confidently replies, "Don't worry," and confronts the tree master. He defeats the tree master in a single move. June realizes he has unlocked his full potential. Overwhelmed with excitement, he flies into the sky with his powerful wings. Shortly after, he receives a call from Alice, who asks to meet him. June goes to meet Alice, and they arrive at the cultivator's marketplace, a place where one can buy rare goods. As they attempt to enter a restricted section, they are stopped. But Alice shows her VIP card. The customers nearby whisper, amazed that someone with such a card has come. They are told that only Alice can proceed further, but Jun is allowed to accompany her. As they walk through, Alice hands Jun some golden stones and says, "If you need to let go of anything or say goodbye to something, you can do it here." A merchant approaches them and asks, "What are you looking to buy? Let me show you some items." The merchant begins displaying various goods, including a high court artifact. She explains, "If you buy this, you can access any high court realm." Curious, Jun asks, "What's the price?" She replies, 500 gold coins. However, June only has 15 coins, so they move on. The girl leads June to another section and says, "You can select any item here, but it could either be something very valuable or just worthless junk." Jun hesitates and says, "Why don't you choose for me?" She selects a small box which contains an ancient sword. She says, "This sword is very old. It once belonged to a powerful cultivator." As they are about to leave, Alice approaches the main merchant and says, "Give me the most special item you have." The merchant hesitates, but Alice's VIP status compels him to agree. One of his servants whispers, "Are you really going to give her that stone?" The merchant replies, "Something even more special is kept here." Later, the servants talk among themselves, saying, "Today's sales went exceptionally well." One of them adds, "I sold that sword to the man." Upon hearing this, the owner collapses in shock, visibly terrified. She came to the master just like that and said, "Master, I could not complete my work." The master said, "Don't say anything to me. I know you are with those two cultivators. You have met me, and now you want to kill me." He was about to attack her. Here, Jun was very angry with this word. He was happy. A nine tells him about this word. She says that it belonged to an old cultivator who controlled a dragon. If you do the same, you will also get the power of the dragon, but it cannot be revealed that the dragon is inside us. Will it work, or will it wreak havoc on the whole world? Then Jun uses his power and creates two more clones like himself who looked exactly the same. Meanwhile, he gets a message of direction from Yui. Then Jun runs towards her, and their fight starts. We see that she was running, but then she stops and directly attacks the master. The master says, "I knew from the beginning how strong you are. That is why I made you my servant." Then Yui takes out her sword and starts to fight. The master attacks her. Then Jun comes there, and Jun attacks him out of selfishness. The master sees the sword, and he is surprised to see in his hand the stave of the old dragon knight. It was Swat. Now, all the members had arrived, and they were trying to stop the master. The master created a barrier to protect himself so that no one's attack could reach him. Everyone was trying their best, but it made no difference to him. Then he struck Jun, causing Jun's body to vanish, but it turned out to be just a clone. Jun had created many clones of himself, scattered everywhere. These clones were engaging the master, but even then they could not overpower him. Then Ein arrived and started confronting the master. Seeing Ein, the master said, "Your cult weapon power is quite impressive. It is remarkable, but after defeating you, I will absorb your energy and this power will become mine. Let's see what you've got." On the side, we see others forming a formation to confront the master directly. The master laughed and said, "You have copied this formation from my book, which means it will have no effect on me. Whatever formation you create, all the energy will transfer to me." Hearing this, someone said, "We should retreat from here because we have no other option." All the people started running. The master then called out to Yui, "Stop them, Yui, don't you want to know about your past?" Yui, surprised, stopped. The master said, 20 years ago, I saw the snake spirit goddess. I desired her, so I set a trap. I came in disguise and told you not to meet me that night, saying that if you did, the whole city would be in trouble. But you went. I took advantage of the opportunity, changed my base, and returned to take control of the whole village. After that, the snake goddess came to you, but you didn't believe her words and turned against her when I convinced you to. I knew you were very strong, but also a bit naive. That's why I used you." Hearing this, Yui became very upset. She prepared to confront him directly. She used her swat on the master, but it caused him only slight discomfort. Meanwhile, we see Tan traveling on a ship. Suddenly, his balance was disturbed because the master's aura was fully released. Tan was about to lose his balance, but his subordinate, who had a parachute, helped him. Both of them escaped safely by sitting together. Meanwhile, the master revealed his true form, radiating a powerful aura. He aimed directly at Alice Cooper as he needed her swat. It is shown that Alice is severely injured. The master advanced toward her to deliver the final blow, but Jun intervened and saved Alice. Now, Jun was facing the master. The fight between the two was intense, but the master was still much stronger. Taking advantage of an opening, the master dealt a critical blow to Alice. Overcome with emotion, Jun lost control of his powers. When he noticed the swat, he realized it was the Dragon Knight's swat. Using his blood, he awakened its power, and the swat struck the master directly. The master, defeated, fell. As he was fading, the master said, "I will definitely return and bring this story to its end." Jun rushed to Alice and saw that she was no longer responsive. Looking around, he heard someone nearby and called out, "Whoever you are, come forward and help save Alice." A mysterious figure appeared and said, "I can save her, but only if you do something for me. You must eliminate hunting. Only then can I bring Alice back." After a moment of hesitation, Jun agreed, saying, "I will do it." The mysterious figure fulfilled their promise, and Alice regained consciousness. The fight was finally over, and everyone returned to living peaceful lives. Alice later took Jun to a special place and said, "This is where my mother saw me for the first time. It holds a lot of meaning for me." With that, the anime comes to an end. I hope you all enjoyed this story. See you again with more exciting content. Until then, sayonara.